Begin with just an overview of your impression of the new moves. You know, there was an era where it was almost every other battle, every other day about payment. Maybe that has tapered a bit. Now we're looking at record increases at a subnational level, but we're also looking at a level of compliance. In fact, one of the things we were querying, as much as we're excited about the numbers, is sustainability. But what's your impression?
Thank you once again. I think it's a good signal. You know, the last 3 negotiations that we've had in the context of the national minimum wage, the challenge had always been the subnationals. You know, when the federal government can muzzle the amount negotiated, while the private sector can do within its context of its limitation, also pay a bit above what the government was doing. And the conversation has always centered around the subnationals, their inability to pay. And that has always been the crisis. And even when we talk about the compliance issues, there has always been compliance concerns at the subnational level. But now that we are hearing the news after the president signed the 70,000, some states are upping it above 70,000, which is good for us. But there are more fundamental issues that we need to look at beyond just upping the minimum wage from 70 to 100 to 140,000. And all of those 104,000 Imo State. Now the key issue we need to interrogate is this: why that increase? Is it because of increased productivity at the side of the workers? Is it in the context of prudent management of resources and maximization of the natural resources that the state has so it can generate more income? Or is it a direct factor of the president's magnanimity by increasing the allocation to the federation account? So if the
it's not a magnanimity, it's the federation money.
Well, federation money, yeah. But he probably could have said, look, I want to put those funds somewhere.
No, he doesn't have the right to. That's for the record. He doesn't have the right. So it's a law, it's a law.
Now the flow to the state has increased proportionately. And it's expected that you respond also to the needs of the critical stakeholders in that state proportionately, and the workers happen to be one of those key stakeholders. So it's a good development within the context of the socio-economic situation that we currently face. So we welcome that move, and we also urge, and that was what prompted our urge that other states whose inflow also have increased proportionately should do more within the context of not only increase the minimum wage for the state workers, but address key fundamental issues. Because if you don't address those issues, pay 200,000, it comes back to buying nothing. It's about what exactly that amount can buy. And if you can deal with 3 different issues: issue of transportation, which is very at the heart of workers, because all household must transport, must eat, and must get accommodation. So deal with those 3 issues with the support as an increase in the minimum wage, and then things will start building up. But it's a good start that the minimum wage in those states are increased.
So what's your interpretation of, you have pointed some intent for the increase?
Yeah.
Productivity, prudent management of resources, and I don't know whether I added the last layer, just politics or whatever. Because some of them are looking for second term, so this is a good political game for them. So we can't take that off the table as well. And then increase in revenue from what has happened so far under this administration. So what, in your view, is the biggest driver here? Have you been able to interpret the intent? Biggest driver here? Have you been able to interpret the intent?
I think the biggest drive for us will be increase in revenue. You know, your options are, your reasons for not paying is almost tending to zero, because the initial conversation about not paying is inability to pay because of the inflow from the federation account to the states. I remember there was a point where there was serious conversation about changing the distribution model, the percentages that goes to the states, to the local government, to the federal government, so that the states can be in a better position to meet their responsibilities as per paying the minimum wage. But now that the inflow from federation account has doubled, in some instances tripled, that argument naturally just reduces. So we think it's a response to the inflow, the new inflow from federation account to the states, which we believe strongly the state can also maximize to deal with other socio-economic issues that will make the minimum wage actually sustainable for the workers. Come to think of it, Carrie, it's the minimum, I think we should, it is the minimum that nobody should earn. It's not the final, it's not the topmost in the edge of wages. It's just the base.
That's the lowest level
level worker that you should know, and that is basically what we're talking about.
And